There's a saying where you'd go around to your girlfriend's place on a promise. A promise is that you get to have a real good night. But sometimes that promise is broken and you go home with blue balls and time wasted. Destiny 2 is the ultimate blue balls promise. I loaded in yesterday to check out Kel's Vengeance, the newest add-on for Contest of Elders that randomly dropped on Tuesday's reset. But what happened here was something really rare for me. I actually rage quit this expert level activity on the last encounter, since we're spending so much time on one long overdrawn mechanic, and only then realised that the loot was actual balls, and not worth the amount of time and effort we were feeding into it. After spending 3 hours on this, and seeing that all we got out of all this effort was a D1 ship, and only a chance at the emblem I built, I was out. You know, like, I do raids and dungeons and GMs, and it's really super rare that I just rage quit anything, being especially so close to the loot, but like, this just wasn't doing it for me. This got me asking, like, what the actual fuck is up with the looter shooter that there's so many activities in that you play where the loot straight up sucks and doesn't validate doing the action, the activity again and again. Doesn't make it worth being a repeatable activity. I can count on one hand the activities that I think loot is good for. For me, I'm chasing some raids and farming some dungeons that have not coughed up an exotic. Warlord's Ruin, I'm looking straight at you. Give me that goddamn buried bloodline. Anyways, where is the loot in the game then? Let's look at where it's definitely not. Vanguard Ops. There's just zero loot to play for in this. I mean, some world materials and a Pathfinder output that gives you enhancement prisms or shards. I've literally thousands of shards at this point, no joke. I don't play strikes for the loot. I play when I want to run something mindlessly and just go through it till the end. I don't give a shit what I get. Seasonal activities and new exotic missions are at a level that you can easily get new seasonal weapons and farm or craft them if needed. The cost-benefit analysis is fine here, but the well dries up early when you got what you need from them. The replayability factor goes to a flat 0, so you just don't really farm them again, unless you absolutely have to. They're not fun to do. Nobody plays Gambit for loot, right? Nobody. In fact, once I got that god roll for Bygones, I was auto-deleting any loot that comes out of Gambit, full stop. I play Gambit as a warm-up for a stream, as I like the chilled format. It's sweet for me. It's not a sweaty PvP and not as passive as PvE. It's still got haters in game, but I know enough people who love the format and play willingly. I'm one of those people. I'm not ashamed to say it. I enjoy it, but I don't play for the loot. PvP. Okay, so this is better than the other ritual vendors for a little variation in game types from comp to control, but again, once you've done chasing maybe the odd roll that isn't craftable, that wall is hit. This falls into the same trap as everything else. The loot isn't the reason you play this game mode. In fact, after my Kel's fail, it was refreshing and enjoyable just to play Iron Banner after hitting a loot realization wall for the PvE. The Tinash's Master is pretty good, so that's worth chasing in fairness for Iron Banner, but in general, PvP gets stuck in that rut of having a loot fail too. The fact that breaks the logic I'm using here are the activities that just transcend loot. The activities that are just fun to play, just to play them. Now one of the last activities that has good loot to grind for is Trials. Its adepts are usually a pain in the absolute ass to be pit against. The problem is that the grind is now chock full of the sweatiest sweats in the game, that you are guaranteed to meet since the player count is so low and you get thrown into a PC lobby. These are the sweats that will leave comments and videos like these saying, oh, you'll get good. I don't play trials much myself since I just I'm a special kind of suck when it comes to trials. It makes me stay in my lane of lore for sure, but I see the lure of the loot here. What does it say for a game when there is one game mode that offers somewhat tempting rotational loot and every other mode just doesn't deliver on the basic promise that is good loot that's worth the grind? What's the answer here? I know there's changes coming to weapon leveling and perks in Frontiers, but this won't address the main issue of replayability, and I think that's it. It's replayability. Make it fun to replay. Some activities I think were just fun to play, and I'm not even sure what the magic was that made me want to play them. Into the Light's Onslaught was just, it was plain fun to play, right? Onslaught's Salvation, or this current version of Onslaught, misses the mark. Do I know why? No. I don't care about the loot, I enjoy playing it. Some things were just fun, like Season of the Witch's seasonal activity. I actually did those, I didn't give a shit what I got. I don't want to look back too much, but the Escalation Protocol on Mars, for me, was an open world activity that I really just loved playing, and I didn't care what the payoff was. Just doing those levels and rounds was fun. If it's just fun, then the cost-benefit analysis is pretty much just ignored. If there is a payoff for the grind to play, then the work is worth it. But if you have an expert level activity like Kel's Vengeance and the loot payoff is just near non-existent, then rethink why anyone would bother playing with this. I don't really understand why this was an expert level activity anyway, when Kel's Fall for the shotgun catalyst was way more accessible. I think maybe this is down to wanting everybody to have access to the shotgun and its caddies, but the relationship feels it's off in my opinion anyway. Yeah, I know the game is in a bad place right now, and even with an episode drop last week, it feels like overall community sentiment is at a low ebb, just judging on the kind of reactions I get from my streams and videos. I don't usually throw my opinions in like this, but it frustrated the living shit out of me playing Kel's Vengeance yesterday and started thinking about the overall loot situation and thought I'd like to put out a video on this and just a few thoughts. What is the answer to this problem? Look, again, honestly, I've no idea. But sometimes things just need to be dynamic and not like the current situation. Either make loot worth the grind or make the activities the kind of fun we've gotten in the past that makes us okay with not getting any worthwhile rewards. If you're still playing D2, why do you play? What brings you back to the activities? I play for the lore and histories and playing with my community, the overall community, but so many creators have just jumped ship at this stage. I wonder, am I on a sinking ship of a game? Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear what your experience is and what your thoughts are. Talk soon.
Wow, this has just been such a pleasure. I'm such a lucky boy. I can't wait to go home